Today in grammar, we're going to learn about a couple of things: sentence punctuation, and then capital letters and punctuation in quotations. So I'm going to do the teaching portion first, and then I'm going to let you loose on your reader's notebook pages to practice. So punctuation consists of marks or signs in writing that can help make meaning clear and separate parts of sentences. We know that punctuation is especially important at the end of a sentence because that is going to show where it ends and what kind of sentence it is. Let's look at the different types of punctuation. We have a period that shows the end of a statement, a question mark that indicates a question, the exclamation point shows a motion, and an ellipsis, these three dots, shows that a sentence isn't finished, and it can create tension in a writing piece or in a text or a message. So let's look at this example. Do you know the way through the forest? Here, this question mark indicates that it is a question. Our thinking question is, what kind of punctuation does the sentence need? So we are going to insert the right and correct punctuation for each of these sentences. So many animals make their homes in trees. What is that? Is it a statement, a question, something that shows emotion, or a sentence that isn't finished? Right, I would say it's a statement, and it would end this sentence in a period. Have you ever seen a bird's nest on a tree branch? What's that? If you clue in to this word have, that'll help you to identify that this is a question. So it needs a question mark. Look at 3 and 4 on your own and see if you can decide with your learning adult which punctuation you need for the end of those sentences. Pause the video and come back and I'll show you the key. All right. Number 3 is look. Can you believe how tall? And then we use an ellipsis. This is not a finished sentence, and it's kind of building tension. We don't know. Can we believe how tall what? How tall is it, right? Wow, that's the tallest tree I've ever seen is an exclamation point. It's showing emotion. Okay? So that's the end of sentence punctuation. Now let's talk about capital letters and punctuation in quotations. The first word of a quotation is always capitalized. All right. We also have quotation marks that are placed before the quote begins and after the quotation ends. Our punctuation is always placed on the inside of the last quotation mark. Okay. We also have a comma that goes in there, and it separates the words that tell who is speaking from the exact words that that speaker is saying in quotation marks. Now, sometimes our quotations will end in a period, an exclamation point, or a question mark. In that case, we do not need to use a comma to separate the words that tell us who's speaking and the speaker's words. Okay, so let's look at the example here. Ms. Simone asked, comma. This is where we're separating the speaker's words from what they say. Quotation marks, capital H. Have you seen the Great Wall of China? This is a question, and that punctuation needs to come inside the last quotation mark. Our thinking question is, what kind of sentence is this quotation? Does it come first or last in the sentence? Okay, so let's do number 1 and 2. We have quotations in all of these sentences, and they're not written correctly. So Chris said, I've seen pictures of the Great Wall of China in magazines. How can we make this correct? We need to add a comma after Chris said, and then start our quotation marks before I've seen pictures of the Great Wall of China in magazines. It has the final quotation marks, but what is it missing? Right, the punctuation. This is a statement, so we would put a period inside the last quotation marks. Did you know that the Great Wall is over 4,000 miles long? Miss Simone asked. Okay. We need to start our quotation mark here. We need to capitalize our D. And then what kind of sentence is this? It's a question. So our question mark would come after the word long. And then we need to end our quotation because the next part of the sentence tells us who is speaking. Okay? Pause the video, do 3 and 4, see if you can figure out where the quotations need to go, the capital letters, the commas, the end marks, and come back to the screen and I will show you the correct. Did you find them all? That's enormous! Exclaimed Pete. He asked, why was the wall built? Now, on both of these sentences, we ended the exclamation in a punctuation mark, okay? This one, however, has who's speaking first, so we needed our comma. Where number 3, we end it, and we don't need that comma in that quotation. On pages 307 and 308, you will find further practice for end of sentence punctuation and capital letters and punctuations in quotation marks. All right, so you are going to walk through these. You're going to write the appropriate end mark at the end of each of the sentences 1 through 7. You're going to rewrite the sentences on the line and use capital letters and the end marks correctly. They don't have anything here, and you need to fix that for them. On page 308, you're going to write the quotations correctly, just like what we just did and talked about on the projectable.